tộc, sức mạnh chính trị, kinh tế, văn hóa, khoa học, công nghệ, quân sự, đối ngoại và sức mạnh toàn dân. Chúng ta muốn làm bạn là đối tác tin cậy với tất cả các nước trên thế giới. Chúng ta tôn trọng luật pháp quốc tế, hiến chương Liên Hợp Quốc, giải quyết các bất đồng tranh chấp bằng biện pháp hòa bình. Chúng ta tuyệt đối không nhân nhượng và âm mưu hành động quyền thống nhất toàn vẹn lãnh thổ, kiên quyết bảo vệ chắc chắn dân tộc. Trong giờ thiên liêng này, mỗi người chúng ta sẽ đang thấy vang vọng lời tuyên ngôn độc lập năm 1945 của Bác Hồ, thấy triệu triệu trái tim Việt Nam đập tự do cùng ngân vang lời thề quyết tử hy sinh. Chúng ta càng thấm nhiều giá trị độc lập, tự do, hạnh phúc, càng trân trọng hòa bình, càng cống hiến
The Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher system is an indigenously designed, developed and manufactured medium-range all-weather three-flight rocket system. Fully automated, offensive weapon system, each launcher will shoot 12 rockets. Developed by the DRDO, Pinaka is a vital component of offensive munitions Sarvatra is a water receiving a round of applause from the assembled guests. Starting the radar system led by Lieutenant Ivan developed again by the DRDO and Electronics, the Central Mobile Radar System designed for automatic visual detection. The counter-battery radar is designed to detect and track incoming artillery and rocket fire to determine the point of origin for counter-battery fire. Weapon-locating radar systems President acknowledging their salutes. As we now have the Sarvatra mobile bridging system at the core of engineers led by Captain Suman Singh, 9 rocket engineers, a made-in-India specialized equipment for bridging over dry and wet gaps of terrain. It can span a minimum of 15 meters in a single span and a maximum of 75 meters in multi-span. Lone helicopter, rather 3 helicopters in brick formation move forward. We have a mechanized column
mobile drone travel system assistant of drone signal track the và bạn bè सेना की अत्याधुनिक टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रदर्शन करते हुए पथ
Forged in the fires of revolution, tested on today's front lines of freedom. Before there was a nation, there was the United States Army. From the hallowed ground of Yorktown's first stand to the unwavering readiness at Fort Bragg today, and on to West Point's next generation of leaders. For 250 years, one force has stood ready. unshaken, unmatched, unbreakable. And today, the legacy rolls on. This is the United States Army's 250th Anniversary Parade.
Representing our joint forces, please welcome the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan King. Joining us, the Secretary of the Army. Please welcome the Honorable Daniel P. Driscoll. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Secretary of Defense, the Honorable Pete Hegseth.
Trở thành quốc gia độc lập, có chủ quyền, nhân dân ta từ thân thần nô lệ trở thành người làm chủ đất nước, mở ra kỷ nguyên mới, hải nguyên độc lập dân tộc và chủ nghĩa xã hội.
Lời vĩ đại của cách mạng tháng 8 Cộng hòa.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, accompanied by the Second Lady of the United States, Lucia Vance, and their 3 children.
Tự do cháy bỏng của cả dân tộc kiên cường bất khuất dưới sự lãnh đạo của Đảng và Chủ tịch Hồ Chí Minh là thắng lợi của chính nghĩa, tiến bộ xã hội, của lý trí phẩm giá con người, trở thành nguồn cảm hứng và động lực mạnh mẽ thúc đẩy phong trào đấu tranh giải phóng dân tộc trên toàn thế giới.
Also among the special places and programs again. Complete inclusivity road right to the grass. Meanwhile, we are confident marching boots all
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and First Lady Melania Trump.
Cộng hòa xã hội chủ nghĩa Việt Nam chính thức phát triển hòa bình, hòa bình, quyền với cộng đồng, nêu gương của tinh thần dân tộc Việt Nam, nguyên một lòng theo con đường xã hội chủ nghĩa mà Đảng, Bác Hồ và nhân dân ta đã lựa chọn. Đưa con người cách mạng Việt Nam dòng quyền mở, hạnh phúc. Tổ chức 54 giai thoại cái rộng là hiện cho 54 dân tộc anh em đoàn kết với sức mạnh vô địch, làm nên chiến thắng trong thời đại xã hội chủ nghĩa thực dẫn.
और 75 की दवाइयाँ हर जगह वीरता के नए अध्याय लिखे हैं।
Today is September 3rd in the capital Beijing. The commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War will begin soon.
CGTN is broadcasting the cameras of live
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, would you please rise for the singing of our national anthem?
Thực hiện thắng lợi sự nghiệp đổi mới, xây dựng và bảo vệ vững chắc Tổ quốc Việt Nam xã hội chủ nghĩa.
Đội liên đều sẽ chủ tịch Hồ Chí Minh đã hiện vĩ đại, chủ tịch Hồ Chí Minh lãnh tụ thiên tài, người sáng lập lãnh đạo cả đời sống Nam where dân tộc, danh nhân văn hóa người sáng lập của lịch sử nhân dân đã lãnh đạo cách mạng Việt Nam từ thắng lợi này đến thắng lợi khác. Bác đã đi xa nhưng thân thể sự nghĩa lịch sử đạo đức và phong cách của người vẫn tỏa sáng soi đường cho dân tộc Việt Nam bước tiến vào kỷ nguyên mới, sánh vai với
State
các
and
cường quốc
party
Nam
leaders
Châu.
Xi Jinping, Li Qiang, Zhao Luoqi, Wang Yunlin, Cai Qi, Ding Xuexiang, Li Xi, and Hanzhou
marches
have come to the
forward
Tiananmen Wall.
led by Lieutenant Sun Zhong of 20. This is the oldest rifle regiment in Pakistan, based in 1775. It also has the distinction of winning 10 regiment awards. Its most famous junior commissioned officers Neeraj Chopra, Subedars, they have won laurels in the Olympics and Asian Games Moving forward, air restraints design and General Light Infantry Center, one signal
Dozens
training
of foreign
center,
politicians and dignitaries attend the ceremony at the
led
invitation.
by Subedar John Zachariah of one signal training center, assisted by Naib Subedar Ramji and Chandanish first time, an all-women contingent for the triceps, led by Captain Sunday. This team includes Agniveers and regular recruits, though they underwent rigorous training and practice in ritual areas. They have successfully managed to cohesively work together under the leadership of Captain
They started as a small, unorganized group of shop owners and farmers, but they fought the most powerful army in the entire world to stand today: Concord, Lexington, and Bunker Hill.
Then our Continental Congress chose George Washington as general of our Continental Army.
But it wasn't until 1 year later, on July 4th, 1776, that news arrived of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Now we had a new army and a new
là lực
nation.
lượng nòng cốt của quân đội nhân dân Việt Nam đã cùng đoàn kết lập
Little
nên nhiều
gunpowder,
chiến công
no
vang dội,
ships, bloody
chiến
feet,
dịch Điện Biên
few
Phủ
cannons,
như lạy
little
Phan
training,
Châu
and
đầu
even
cầu
less.
đến chiến
Valley
dịch vô
Forge
chiến
started
lịch
in
sử
December. They went into
sự
our
nghiệp
camp
xây dựng
December
và bảo vệ tổ quốc
1777. Approximately 2,000 Americans survived that winter of siege.
They lived
hiện đại sẵn sàng
They
chiến đấu
never ever
bảo vệ
gave
vững
up.
chắc
Not this
độc
side
lập
of the
chủ
Not
quyền
this
lãnh
first
thổ của
American
Tổ quốc.
Finally, Washington and his army arrived here at Yorktown, where they had General Cornwallis and his powerful British army trapped in this city against the sea.
All of the preparation that Washington has learned through the course of those 6.5 years meets its full force here. He employs brilliant.
Sailing from the Caribbean, the French Navy arrived, took on the British fleet.
Washington decided to make his deal. Our men began digging to get closer and closer, finally getting within rifle cannon. Naturally, George Washington set off our first infantry.
The British had two small forts in front of them. They were called Redoubts 9 and 10.
Then, on the newly won October 4th, the American and French forces attacked the redoubts. The hand-to-hand combat with bayonets, knives, and fists was bloody to say the
Đã
least.
xuyên vào
But
đề
within an
tài
hour,
là khối sĩ quân lục quân
And as the sun came up the next day, Cornwallis looked out and realized he was in serious trouble. So he prepared an all-out
lớp lớp các thế hệ sĩ quan lục
it
quân
did
đã
not,
có mặt trên
and the
các
British
chiến
were
trường
forced to
thể
surrender.
hiện bản lĩnh
We were
vững vàng,
supposed to
kiên
lose
cường,
to the best
lập
army
nên
in
chiến
the
công
largest
xuất
British
sắc.
professional navy.
But our young army had won the war and our
nâng
freedom.
cao trình độ mọi
The
mặt,
freedom we
sẵn
hold so
sàng chiến
dear.
đấu, hy
And
sinh,
250
bảo vệ
years
vững
later,
chắc Tổ quốc
for what
Việt Nam
started
xã
as a
hội chủ nghĩa
ragtag group of
và
shop
hạnh phúc
owners
của
has
nhân
now
dân.
become the most powerful army in the world.
Today, many things are very different from that army here at Yorktown. But one thing remains the same. An undying passion, guts, and love for our country remains deep in the heart of today's army. When I look into their faces, you can see that will never change. God bless the United States Army, and God bless the United States of America.
Commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression, as well as anti-fascist war, now begins.
Maratha Light Regiment Center and the Jat Regimental Center, along with the AOC Center, comprising 72 musicians led by Subedat Ajay Kumar N.
Please all rise
Tiếp vào
and
lễ
stand
đài
at
là của sĩ quan phòng không không quân trong kháng chiến với ý nghĩa dám đánh, biết đánh, quyết thắng. Bộ đội phòng không không quân đã bắt rơi hàng ngàn máy bay địch, làm nên huyền thoại Hà Nội điện biên phủ trên không, thể hiện khí thế anh hùng và tầm cao trí tuệ Việt Nam. Led by the Commissioning Fuller, Captain Abbas Saban from the Army of War, Surgeon and vũ khí trang bị và khuyến khích các chiến hiện đại bảo vệ vững chắc tổ quốc trong mọi tình huống.
The Navy Ground Salute has fired a mark of 80 years since the victory of the War of Resistance. Thunder Hans resembles wars of soldiers on the battleground. It is also like a song of triumph, sending a time and space to tell our fallen heroes. China today is a great country with majestic mountains and rivers. It is full of pride and ambition.
Great changes have taken place over the 80 years, 1945 to 2025. Today, China is safeguarding world peace and contributing to the progress of human civilization with fearless strength and determination. The Great Wall symbolizes the enduring spirit of the Chinese nation. This great nation never bows to any or any force. Those who dare to invade us are doomed to
Ladies and gentlemen, the parade is officially underway. Up first, internationally renowned and one of the world's finest professional music organizations, the United States Army Band, Marching Zone. They are the premier music organization of the U.S. Army, our nation's most senior service. Stationed at Joint Base Meyer-Henderson Hall, Virginia, it plays an important musical role in events of national and international significance. They were founded back in 1922 by Army Chief of Staff John J. Pershing. They're led today by Colonel Bruce R. Pulver and Drum Major Rob Moore. Today, Pershing Zone is playing a melody entitled The Army Goes Rolling Along. This was actually written in 1908 by the then Lieutenant Edmund Louis Snitz-Huber, which was a descendant of French who composed Silent Night. It was originally written to be the First Artillery Regimental song titled The Caissons Go Rolling Along, and in 1956 the lyrics were revised by Harold Arberg as the official song of the U.S. Army, and then retitled The Army Goes Rolling Along. Pershing Zone carries on its century-old legacy, playing a march that brings pride to every soldier. The Army Song.
Chinese people's deep love towards the motherland can be seen from the steadfast gaze of the honor guards.
In the U.S. Army, established back in 1784, the unit was dubbed the Old Guard by Major General Winfield Scott during the victory parade in Mexico City after the Mexican War. It is the U.S. Army's official ceremonial unit and presidential escort, conducting year-round tactical training to ensure the highest standards and utmost discipline of its soldiers. The unit routinely represents the U.S. Army and our nation in official ceremonies, major sporting events, and their own with the U.S. Army's own Twilight Tattoo. The Old Guard also maintains 24-hour vision of the tomb of the Chinese nation, while also conducting funeral services honoring our fallen heroes at Arlington National Cemetery. The Richmond 50 campaign streamer stands as a testament to its long, faithful service to our nation. Ladies and gentlemen,
the past formation. 3 MiG-29 aircraft flying past in big formation, led by Group Captain Manoj Hargav,
in 1775, the shot to ground Lexington and Spawn Revolution, United British colonies forging a another army fighters and frontiers. Against the odds, they turned the tide and treated at Saratoga to survive Valley Forge, and at Yorktown
This is a road to national
securing independence and giving birth to the United States.
It is also a road national dignity,
Incidentally,
prosperity,
Sunita
and
Yadav had
strength,
participated
and
in
eroded
last year's
Chinese modernization and a global community with a shared
tiến vào
future.
lễ đài là khối chiến sĩ
Before
tác chiến điện
radios
tử
and field
ra đời
phones,
trở thành một
the
quân
rare of
đội.
the Air
in the
Force.
Continental Army, fifes and drums carrying commands across the chaos of battle, telling soldiers when to advance, when to retreat, eat, even when to rest. That legacy actually lives on today with the U.S. Army fighting drum, part of the 3rd Infantry Regiment known as the Old Guard, founded back in 1960, really ultimate of their kind in the armed forces. Performing in uniforms patterned after those worn by General Washington's musicians, playing period instruments with patriotic precision that bring history to life, sharing the sound and spirit of the revolution through more than 500 performances each year, both at home and around the world too. The Old Guard, Fife and Drum Corps, everybody!
Raise the national flag and sing the national anthem.
And now, from high above, ladies and gentlemen, celebrating 250 years, your United States Army parachute team, the Golden Knights. Descending over 120 miles an hour, the Golden Knights are using flexible wing gliders to maintain their formation. They operate academy simultaneously and negotiate as smoothly as possible. I'll tell you, they can't hear you, but they sure can see you. Give them a great big wave, ladies and gentlemen, the Golden Knights, the finest parachuting team in the world.
Đang tiến vào lễ đài là khối lực lượng tác chiến quân cách mạng, được xây dựng theo hướng tinh, gọn, mạnh, hiện đại. Lực lượng tác chiến quân cách mạng đã
उत्तराधिकारी विदेश पापनूर सलामी मंच के सामने से गुजरता हूँ।
Please be seated.
không gian mạng. Trước yêu cầu nhiệm vụ mới, lực lượng tác chiến không gian mạng tiên phong đột phá, phát triển khoa học công nghệ, đổi mới sáng tạo,
General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, President of the People's Republic of China, and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, Comrade Xi Jinping, to deliver an important speech.
का नेतृत्व कर रहे चुनौती शर्मा तीन अधिकारी असिस्टेंट कमांडेंट रियाद तैयब असिस्टेंट कमांडेंट हार्दिक और असिस्टेंट कमांडेंट पल्लव बल का
All my fellow Chinese across the nation, over 2,000 states and government and representatives of international organizations.
Change of color now, going past the saluting base. Again, for the first time on tender departure. BSF, Villa Brass Band, under the command of Lakshmi. The band playing the tune Bharat Ke Jawan.
Today, we gather here to solemnly commemorate the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against the Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War.
As they march by, a soldier's uniform signals their duty, their role, and their readiness. And by the late 1850s, official regulations outlined distinctly shaping the Army identity and function.
Women contingent for the security corps.
On behalf of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of
led by
China,
Assistant
the National
Commandant
People's
Monica
Well, by
Congress,
war's
Lastra.
end, that rugged sack coat became the soldier's uniform of choice.
the National
As
Committee
the
of
war
the Chinese
escalated,
People's Party of the Soviet Congress, and the Central Military Commission.
Women became an integral part, more ranks to
I would like to pay high
as they march by, representing the Civil War era of our nation's history, is the 4th Infantry Division based out of Fort Carson,
officers who fought
Colorado.
in a war of resistance against Japanese aggression. And to the Chinese nationals from home and abroad who made important contributions to our victory.
Women's band, led by Constable Kashyap, Monica Narendra.
I would also like to express my sincere thanks to foreign governments and friends that supported and assisted the Chinese people in resisting aggression. I also extend a warm welcome
Women
to our guests from around the world
Born from the thunder of horse cavalry traditions of the Civil War, the first team forged its reputation on the front lines of history. They stormed Manila with the flying colors, charging the Pyongyang as the first to reach the line and face the brutal crucible
The
of
Chinese
dragon.
people's war
The first
of
of
resistance
13
against the
main
Japanese
campaigns in
aggression
Vietnam where they
was the
fought
Great
their
War.
medal. Today,
fought
that same
with
warrior spirit
tenacity
lives
and
on.
valor.
You'll know the name, and you'll know them by their
Under
iconic
defense,
cap hats.
National United Front against Japanese aggression, established at the initial
Division is a lethal disciplined force that stands ready to fight anywhere, anytime, and the legacy rides on. This is the
and
cap.
formed a great wall with flesh and blood to defend the nation and ultimately achieve the first complete victory in resisting foreign aggression in modern times. The Chinese people's war of resistance against the Japanese aggression was an important part
Special
of the
thanks to
war
our sponsor, Lockheed
मार्चिंग
Martin.
दस्ता अब सलामी मंच के सामने
With huge national sacrifice, the Chinese people made major contributions to saving human civilization and safeguarding world peace.
आकर्षक परिधान अनुशासन
History cautions us
देश के प्रति समर्पण
that humanity rises and falls together.
अब आ रहे हैं हिंदी भारत तिब्बत सीमा पुलिस का बैंड
Treat each other as equals,
कर्णप्रिय धुन बजाता हुआ आगे बढ़ रहा है
and support each
अंबिका
other,
पाटिल के
and
नेतृत्व
we
में ये
uphold
है
common security,
सारे
eradicate the
जहां से
root cause of war,
मार्च
and prevent the reoccurrence of historical tragedies.
और ये भारत तिब्बत सीमा पुलिस का महिला मार्चिंग कंटिजेंट नेतृत्व
In 1914,
The Chinese nation is a great nation which was never included by any basis, and all its values were and
the
forges
two sides engaged in a savage war of
in the
attrition,
past,
defined by
faced
a
critical
brutal
struggles
struggles,
to
barbed wire,
evil,
poison gas, and mass casualties. The United States initially maintained its neutrality and was eventually drawn into the conflict in 1917. Despite having less than 130,000 soldiers at the beginning, the Army eventually grew to over 4 million, with nearly 2 million soldiers serving the Chinese nation. In 6 months of fighting, nearly 50,000 Americans lost their lives, with another 190,000 wounded. The guns fell silent with the armistice of November 11,
humanity
1918.
has to choose between peace and war, dialogue and confrontation, win-win cooperation and zero-sum game. The Chinese people firmly stand on the right side of history and the progress of human civilization.
We continue on with more USA World War I rolling stock. This 1918 Dodge Touring car was part of the legendary 1919 Transcontinental Convoy. 3,251 miles and 62 grueling days across the Lincoln Highway. Remember, no paging, no GPS, and no power steering. Just grit, determination, and the drive to push Army mobility into the future. This car literally helped pave the way for the roads we rely on today and reminds us our Army moves, the nation follows. The 1918 Dodge Touring car.
And firmly safeguard the China's sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity.
The Delhi Police Band for the first time on the parade.
All service members provide
women
strategic support for the great rejuvenation of the Chinese
This is the 42nd Infantry Division Band. At the start of World War I, the 42nd Infantry Division was formed with troops from 27 National Guard units stretching across the country like a rainbow, composed of skilled musicians from all walks of life, the professional occupations, they perform a variety of musical genres. Though their mission is primarily a musical one, the members were ordered into active federal service back in 2000. 2004 in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom in Greece. The band has also served in support of numerous state active organizations, including cleanup efforts following Hurricane Sandy, distribution support during COVID-19, and recently support for New York State corrections. Commanded by Chief Warrant Officer 2 Ethan Wagner and led by Drum Major Sergeant First Class Jazz, the band is performing Over There, written in 1917 by Broadway composer and recipient of the Congressional Gold Medal and co-head.
For the new era.
Representing the World War I era is the 82nd Airborne Division, based out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. You'll notice the unit is wearing a replica World War I uniform signifying the soldiers who served our nation during this time. When the Americans entered the Great War, our soldiers, under the command of General Blackjack Pershing, hit the trenches in the new standard, which was the Olive Drab Winter Service uniform. Now on their heads was a steel helmet with sand-textured paint built to deflect deadly shrapnel from above. Not bulletproof, but battle-tough. Nicknamed the Pershing Group, on their feet was the N-1918 French group. It was designed to survive the brutal grind of trench warfare. And on their backs, a field pack, rations, ammo, first aid, and a gas mask. Everything a uniform needed to fight and to Incidentally, the 42nd Infantry Division was deployed to heavy combat abroad and then deployed again in World War II, ultimately liberating the Dachau concentration camp. The 42nd responded to the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Later, with the war on terrorism, the rainbow stretched across the world again, deploying in Iraq and Afghanistan. Thundering into view, the pride of Fort Sill, the U.S. Army Artillery Half Section. This is literally powered by horsepower and heritage. This elite ceremonial unit honors the legacy of the Army's horse-drawn artillery. With precision, discipline, and 6 majestic horses pulling a vintage 1918 caisson, the Half Section keeps tradition alive and rolling strong. Representing the power, pride, and precision of America's field artillery. This is Fort Sill's finest, ladies and gentlemen.
With steadfast footsteps, overbearing, the iron-clad showcase their unshakable faith, strong conviction,
Special thanks to our sponsor, Form Energy.
to their
adventure. The NTC has named 3 black credential roles and is one of the largest uniform organizations in the world.
Standing firm on the ground of the motherland and bearing hope to the Chinese nation, the heroic
history's darkest hour, the United States Army is on the front lines from the beaches of the to the islands of the Pacific. The greatest generation faced down tyranny and turned the tide.
Nữ dân quân các dân tộc Việt Nam luôn trung thành với Đảng, Tổ quốc và nhân dân.
From bombers to fighters to transports, U.S. Army aircraft started to thunder across the skies in World War II. And take a look up there, ladies and gentlemen. Flying overhead right now. They are fast, they are fierce, and famously used to the tune of the raid over Tokyo. Leading up front, the mighty B-25 Mitchell. Up next, the Cadillac of the sky, the P-51 Mustang.
Chairman of the Central Military Commission, Xi Jinping.
From the sky, we're back down on the ground. In World War II, one vehicle led the charge, the legendary quarter-ton 4x4 command recon vehicle, the Jeep. You might have a Jeep in your driveway, but not like this. The U.S. Army truck quarter-ton 4x4 command reconnaissance, better known as the Jeep, was an iconic vehicle of World War II and was the world's first mass-produced four-wheel drive vehicle. The Army used the Jeep for almost every military activity, including command vehicles, scout cars, and medical ambulances. Vast and rugged, the Jeep became a symbol of American ingenuity. From Fort Bragg, North Carolina, this is the 82nd Airborne Ceremonial Band. The 82nd received the nickname All-Americans after a contest as it represented the diverse origins of its members from every state. This name remains today symbolized by their iconic AA patch. Fort Bragg's finest, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a round of applause, the 82nd Airborne Ceremonial Band.
Lá cờ vinh quang vì an ninh tổ quốc và với phần thưởng lớn mà Đảng, Nhà hát trao tặng đã là về nhập của Đảng tháng 8 năm 1945 được Đảng Bác Hồ thắng lợi giáo dục rèn luyện được nhân dân hết lòng tin yêu giúp đỡ lực lượng công an nhân dân dũng cảm hợp tan mọi âm
In a global fight like World War II, the U.S. Army knew our troops needed more than courage. They needed innovation. Uniforms evolved for every environment, but olive drab remained the mark of the American soldier. Shaped by lessons from the trenches of World War I, the Army introduced two battlefield essentials: the M1 helmet, tough, stable, and built to protect every fighter, and the M1 Garand rifle, powerful and fast, that gave American troops a very clear edge. General George S. Patton called the M1 rifle the greatest battle implement ever designed, and history proved it right.
Những anh hùng thầm lặng, tận tụy, sẵn sàng hy sinh, bảo vệ đảng, nhà nước.
The 82nd Airborne Division, the unit is best known for their bravery on D-Day, when 12,000 parachute and glider troops destroyed German supply lines after fighting for 33 days straight.
The troops for review of fully prepared. Please proceed with the inspection. Chief Commander of the Brigade,
The 101st Airborne Division, based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, traces its lineage back to 1918 when it first established as the 101st Division. Known for their ability to rapidly deploy across the world, the unit has held a crucial role in operations since its inception. From parachuting behind enemy lines on D-Day to leading helicopter assaults in Vietnam, the 101st redefined modern warfare. In the 50s, the Screaming Eagles stood tall at home, protecting the Little Rock Nine during the fight for civil rights. In recent decades, they've been sent across the world, extends as far as the Middle East, where they took part in Operation Desert Storm and participated extensively in the war on terrorism in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Screaming Eagles continue to lead the way as tomorrow's division in today's Army.
Đã lập nhiều chiến công xuất sắc, bảo vệ tuyệt đối an toàn Chủ tịch Hồ Chí Minh, các đồng chí lãnh đạo của Đảng, nhà nước.
The iconic Sherman tank is here, ladies and gentlemen. It was the cornerstone of the U.S. Armed Forces, showing its military might in World War II. It became one of the most influential tank designs of the 20th century. The M4 tank was nicknamed the Sherman tank after Civil War General William Tecumseh Sherman. Actually, it was named by the British. With almost 50,000 produced during World War II, the Sherman tank was in active service until 1957. In World War II, the M16 half-track was a force to be reckoned with. It was a self-propelled anti-aircraft weapon with speed, firepower, and grit. Nicknamed the Meat Chopper, its quad 50 caliber round could unleash 2,300 rounds a minute. Quite devastating. It served through Korea, Vietnam, and beyond, and remains in use with U.S. allies to this day. The M16 half-track wins the fight wherever it rolls.
हरियाणा से चलते हैं एक बार फिर पूर्वोत्तर की ओर बारी में मणिपुर राज्य के
The U.S. Army Transportation Corps motto states, nothing happens until something moves. That was never more true than with this. Look at this, the 2.5-ton Chevrolet Deuce and a half.
And the soldiers replied,
1,000 pounds of cargo was the backbone of the Red Ball Express that kept the Allies supplied after D-Day in World War II.
To which the soldiers replied, we serve the people.
पेश करता है और विकसित भारत के रूप में भारत के विकास का मार्ग प्रशस्त करता नजर आता है। मणिपुर से मध्य भारत यानी मध्य प्रदेश की झांकी đang nhắm vào lễ đài là khối năng sĩ quan cảnh sát phòng cháy chữa cháy. Trải qua 64 năm xây dựng và trưởng thành, các thế hệ cán bộ chiến sĩ lực lượng cảnh sát phòng cháy chữa cháy và cứu nạn cứu hộ luôn khắc phục khó khăn gian khổ cảm chiến đấu hy sinh.
The Korean War, often referred to as the Forgotten War, began on June 25, 1950, with the North Korean Army's invasion of South Korea. A coalition of South Korea, the United States, and other United Nations members defeated the invasion and advanced into North Korea. The coalition fought and defeated 2 Chinese offensives in the spring of 1951. Armistice negotiations began shortly after that defeat in July of 1951 until the armistice was signed 2 years later in 1953. Combat consisted of small attacks, raids, and patrols. During this war, the United States deployed approximately 6.8 million military forces to the Korean Peninsula.
As you could hear right there, the phrase "serve people" was written into the party constitution at the 7th National Congress of the Communist Party of China in 1945. Serving the people wholeheartedly established as the fundamental principle of the party, the People's Liberation Army.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Coinbase.
Chào mừng khối nam sĩ quan cảnh sát cơ động đang tiến vào lễ đài, là lực lượng nòng cốt thực hiện biện pháp vũ trang bảo vệ an ninh quốc gia, bảo đảm trật tự an toàn xã hội.
The MS-51 kept rolling along as the lightweight, high-mobility Denver purpose vehicle replacing the famed Whirlpool G back in 1961. Officially named the Military Utility Tactical Truck, or MUT, most servicemen generally refer to it as a Jeep. The vehicle spanned more than 40 years in 4 manufacturers and were everywhere that the Army was deployed. Another rolled by earlier, and at 2.5 tons, this deuce and a half, the F-35A2 classic military transport truck, was a mainstay of the U.S. Army for decades, particularly during the Vietnam War and Operation Iraqi Freedom. The deuce and a half proved its value moving cargo, supplies, and soldiers. Its capabilities include up to 5,000 pounds off-road and 10,000 pounds on-road, making it ideal for moving just about anything. In the jungles of Vietnam, the U.S. Army faced a new kind of war. Helicopters became the new workhorses of battle, delivering troops, firepower, and supplies into some of the most unforgiving terrain on Earth. This is the U.S. Army in Vietnam, the era of air-to-body, fierce firefights, and unwavering bravery. And over the music marching through, the roar of these legendary Army helicopters takes to the air. Flying overhead right now, they help define the Vietnam War. That staccato beat of the order days was a welcome sound to many troops, mired in combat. From transport and medevac to close air support and reconnaissance, they brought the fight to the front and pulled the wounded to safety. The OH-6 Cayuse scouted the terrain with unmatched agility. The AH-1 Cobra, also nicknamed the Snake, brought serious firepower. Its slim design, as you can see here, helped it survive and thrive in hostile environments to protect soldiers below. And the icon of the era, the UH-1 Huey, the first turbine-powered helicopter in service with the U.S. military. There was nothing the Huey couldn't do. General support, air assault, cargo transport, medic evacuation, and ground attack missions. The Cayuse, Cobra, and Huey, ladies and gentlemen, three iconic Army symbols in the sky.
Lực lượng cảnh sát đặc nhiệm đã lập được nhiều chiến công xuất sắc, được Đảng, Nhà nước và nhân dân ghi nhận.
The 1st Cavalry Division Band, based out of Fort Cavazos, Texas, has played a vital role in U.S. military history. Since its origins back in 1855 as the band of the 2nd Cavalry, it has supported operations from the Civil War to Desert Storm. Over time, it's evolved into a powerful force using music to strengthen bonds between soldiers and engage with communities. From World War II in Korea to the Vietnam War in Bosnia, the 1st Teen Band has enhanced morale and upheld the division's enduring legacy. Today, the band continues its mission using music to shape perceptions, foster trust, and promote national army and division interests. Standing ready to serve, it remains an enduring symbol of the 1st Cavalry Division's legacy and commitment to duty. The band performs Hit the Lever and Ride on March composed by Captain Robert Meredith Wilson. This piece reflects the cavalry's transition from horses to mechanized warfare, capturing the speed, the resilience, and the tradition of the division. From Port Cavazo, Texas, everybody, the 1st Cavalry Division Band. The U.S. Army deployed large numbers of troops in support of the Vietnam War. The first contingent of U.S. Army advisors arrived in Vietnam in the late 1950s, and that quickly grew to a small team of around 100 soldiers, which then expanded to more than 600 over the next decade. As the war intensified, troops' numbers quickly grew. The war between the South Vietnamese government and the communist insurgents, supported by North Vietnam, intensified. By January 1969, more than 364,200 soldiers organized around 7 divisions and 20 separate combat brigades. The United States began withdrawing its forces in July of 1969, and the last Army combat unit left South Vietnam in August of 1971. The last U.S. combat soldier came home in March 1973, while a small number of non-combat personnel remained until April 1975.
Bản lĩnh, trí tuệ, sẵn sàng nhận và hoàn thành xuất sắc mọi nhiệm vụ. Đây là lực lượng kế cận.
Representing the Vietnam War era is the 101st Airborne Division based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. The unit is wearing replica Vietnam War uniforms signifying the soldiers who served our nation during this time. Blistering heat, thick humidity, and unforgiving terrain demanded uniform innovation. And the Army, they delivered. New lightweight uniforms were constructed to move with the soldier. The M16 replaced the M1 Garand, calling for redesigned ammo gear and faster reloads in combat. Body armor got smarter, jackets and trousers got lighter, and field equipment was reimagined to meet the mission head-on. Gone were the heavy Mickey Mouse boots replaced by canvas tropical combat boots that offered better grip, faster drying, and all-day endurance.
Trong sự nghiệp bảo vệ an ninh trật tự, đồng thời gắn bó máu thịt với nhân dân.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Oracle.
Đang tiến vào lễ đài là khối cảnh sát cơ động Kỵ binh, đơn vị vũ trang chiến đấu tập trung đặc biệt thuộc Bộ Tư lệnh Cảnh sát cơ động, được thành lập vào năm 2020 với chức năng, nhiệm vụ huấn luyện và sử dụng ngựa nghiệp vụ. Trong những năm qua, cảnh sát cơ động Kỵ binh tham gia và hoàn thành tốt nhiều nhiệm vụ đấu tranh phòng chống tội phạm, tuần tra, kiểm soát, bảo đảm an ninh trật tự, diễu hành tại các thành phố,
When Saddam Hussein's Iraq invaded Kuwait in August 1990, the U.S. Army deployed to Saudi Arabia to deter further Iraqi aggression in the region for what was known as Operation Desert Shield. By the fall, more than 750,000 troops comprising U.S. service members and coalition partners from more than 30 countries had assembled in the Saudi Arabian desert. In mid-January 1991, the U.S.-led coalition began Operation Desert Storm, which kicked off with an intensive air campaign designed to knock out key Iraqi infrastructure and weaken Iraqi forces. The ground offensive was launched in early 1991 where military forces overwhelmingly destroyed enemy tanks and vehicles. After only 100 hours of ground combat, coalition troops liberated Kuwait. The Gulf War ended, Iraq surrendered.
Of Chinese people's war of resistance against Japanese aggression and the world anti-fascist war.
From Fort Wiley, Kansas, this is the 1st Infantry Division, one of the Army's most storied divisions. Nicknamed the Big Red One because of the distinctive red on their unit patch. As the oldest continuously serving division in the U.S. Army, the unit has participated in every major operation since World War I, living up to its motto, no mission too difficult, no sacrifice too great, duty first. The 1st Infantry Division was originally established as the 1st Expeditionary Division in 1917 and spearheaded the American Expeditionary Forces in France during World War I. In World War II, the Fighting First stormed Omaha Beach on D-Day and liberated Nazi concentration camps. The highly decorated unit has had 37 members of the Big Red One awarded the Medal of Honor. In Washington, D.C., the 1st Division Monument stands at President's Park, memorializing those who died while serving in the 1st Infantry Division. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the Big Red One, the 1st Infantry Division. More military rolling stock. During Operation Desert Storm, the M2 Bradley fighting vehicle proved its value on the battlefield. It is fast, it is tough, and it is lethal. Named for General Omar Bradley, a leader from West Point's famed class of 1916, the Bradley was built to carry troops into combat with protection and power. Armed with a 25mm chain-driven cannon and twin-tube launched optically tacked wire-guided missiles, it played a critical role in clearing the way during the ground assault into Iraq. While the Paladin looks and sounds like a tank, it is technically a self-propelled howitzer and was first introduced back in the 1960s. Over the years, it's been upgraded to perform in versatile battlefields from Vietnam to the Soviet Union to Iraq.
Tribal women and production of
भारत समृद्ध विरासत के दर्शक उत्तर प्रदेश के मनोरम झांकी श्री राम जन्मभूमि अयोध्या में संपन्न हुए श्री राम लला के प्राण प्रतिष्ठा समारोह को झांकने के अभी Hà Nội niềm vui đón chào sự kiện trọng đại 80 năm ngày khai sinh các Việt Nam dân chủ Cộng hòa. Trái tim đất Việt lại được đón trái tim hướng về phía Ấn Độ.
The foot formations are now adjusting their lines. Vehicles and armaments are lining up. They will soon march to the Tiananmen Crossing.
The People's Liberation Army is known as the PLA. In 1927, its frontrunners were founded by the Communist Party of China. It was written because the Chinese workers and President Red Army this year marks the 98th anniversary of the founding of the PLA.
During the 14-year-long war of resistance, under the leadership of the Communist Party of China, the 8th Red Army and the new 4th Army, together with the Chinese people, defeated the Japanese forces and enveloped the invaders. They asserted their role in the battlefields and achieved victory in the war for national liberation.
Since the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the PLA has also undertaken the tasks of national defense and socialist construction, while transforming itself into a more revolutionary and modernized military.
In the Gulf War, no division hit harder or moved faster than the First Armored. The First Armored Division, nicknamed Old Ironside, is the oldest, most recognizable armored division in the United States Army. As part of the build-up for World War II, cavalry and reconnaissance units were brought together to form the First Armored Division in 1940. In the Gulf War, no division hit harder or moved faster than the First Armored. Old Ironsides really led the way. During Desert Storm, they engaged in some of the largest tank battles in Army history that were decisive victories, shattering enemy formations. Based in Fort Bliss, Texas, America's Tank Division is currently supporting missions in 20 countries across 5 continents. From World War II to today, Old Ironside remains battle-proven and always ready.
The next chapter approaching is the Council of Scientific and Industrial
China pursues a national defense policy that is defensive in nature. China will never seek hegemony, expansion, or spheres of influence.
The purple revolution ushered through lavender cultivation in Jammu and Kashmir.
Today, the PLA protects China and its people while making significant contributions to safeguarding world peace. It is the largest contributing country for peacekeepers among the permanent members of the UN Security Council.
China has formulated a three-step development strategy for modernizing national defense and the armed forces to achieve the centenary goals of strengthening the PLA by 2027, realize the modernization of national defense and the armed forces by 2035, and fully build the military into a world-class one by 2050.
The all-women CSIRW showcases achievements under government's initiative in science and development.
The centenary objectives state that by 2027, China will accelerate the integrated development of mechanization, informationization, and intelligentization, accelerate the modernization of military theory, organizational forms, personnel, weaponry, and prioritize quality and efficiency to enhance operational efficiency of military systems and optimize the utilization of defense resources and promote the synchronized growth of defense and economic strengths.
Kính thưa các vị đại biểu khách quý, kính thưa đồng bào, chiến sĩ cả nước và bạn bè quốc tế. Trong không khí thiêng liêng của lễ kỷ niệm 80 năm cách mạng tháng 8 thành công và quốc khánh nước Cộng hòa xã hội chủ nghĩa Việt Nam, chúng ta cùng hướng về quảng trường Ba Đình lịch sử, chứng kiến nghi thức rước đuốc và thắp sáng đài lửa truyền thống cách mạng. Ngọn đuốc truyền thống cách mạng đang được truyền lửa từ bảo tàng Hồ Chí Minh. Năm 1995, ngọn đuốc truyền thống mang lửa thiêng từ Pháp Phó, Cao Bằng, nơi khởi nguồn cách mạng, đã được đưa về bảo tàng.
First used in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm, the M119 howitzer brought precision firepower to the front lines. Lighter and more mobile than larger artillery, it was built for the infantry brigade, able to fire high into the air or directly at the target depending on the mission. Whether used in battery formation or as a standalone support weapon, the M119 delivered reliable, responsible fire when it mattered most. Still in service today, including on the front lines in Ukraine, it remains a trusted part of the Army's arsenal.
Đồng chí lãnh đạo, nguyên lãnh đạo Đảng, Nhà nước và Sở Tổ quốc Việt Nam.
More planes that form the aerial echelons will take off from several airports and fly over the Tiananmen Square.
A total of 45 formations and echelons are involved in the Grand Parade. During the parade march past, airborne flag guarding echelons, foot formations, battle flag
Special thanks to our sponsor, UFC.
Aerial echelons will pass through or fly past Tiananmen Square in order. The parade is organized under a wartime command system and will involve thousands of troops, over 100 aircraft, and hundreds of ground armaments.
Của người Việt Nam thế hệ mới. Ngọn lửa sẽ được thắp sáng trên đài lửa nhiều chiều toàn đảng, toàn dân, toàn quân ta muốn người như một phát huy truyền thống yêu nước, sức mạnh đại đoàn kết toàn dân tộc, quyết tâm xây dựng và bảo vệ vững chắc Tổ quốc Việt Nam xã hội chủ nghĩa.
On September 11, 2001, terrorists destroyed the World Trade Center in New York City and struck the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. using commercial airliners. In response, the U.S. launched the global war on terrorism. The U.S. would stop potential threats around the world and take the fight to terrorist groups and the nations that back them. The Army immediately deployed forces to Afghanistan to destroy a Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda terrorist organization and depose his sponsors, the ruling Taliban. The 2003 President Bush expanded the war to Iraq. Soldiers and other armed services overthrew Iraq's dictator Saddam Hussein. The fight to stabilize Iraq and prevent terrorist groups from overthrowing its new government continues to this day. The campaign in Afghanistan lasted until 2021 when U.S. forces withdrew and the Taliban returned to power. Over the course of the two-decade conflict, over 2 million servicemen and women, less than 1% of the American population deployed in support of the global war on terrorism. Most of those who served were members of the United States Army.
Chào mừng lễ kỷ niệm 80 năm cách mạng tháng 8 thành công và quốc khánh nước Cộng hòa xã hội chủ nghĩa Việt Nam.
Các đồng chí lãnh đạo, nguyên lãnh đạo Đảng, Nhà nước,
Central Vista विकसित भारत का बंधन झांकी ने कर्तव्य पर नया संसद लक्ष्य स्थापित नेताजी सुभाष जी की प्रतिमा को पूर्ण बखूबी प्रदर्शित किया गया। नया विकसित कर्तव्य पर एवं नया संसद भवन विश्व के मानचित्र पर अमिट छाप छोड़ता है। यह विश्व पटल पर अपनी पहचान बनाने और तेजी से विकास करते हुए नए भारत का प्रतिबिंब है।
Commence the march past.
Flag values the direction. Flag pulls strength. The march past begins with the airborne flag guard echelon.
Accompanied by the impassioned military music, the flag of the CPC, the national flag of the People's Republic of China, and the flag of the People's Liberation Army are fluttering high in the air. 26 helicopters form huge numerical shapes of 8 and 0. 3 helicopters were bearing the banners that read, "Justice will prevail, peace will prevail, people will prevail." These messages are a great truth inspired by history, a solemn proclamation of the right course, and a clarion call in an era of peace and development.
The Chinese nation always cherishes peace, takes sides with historical directions, fairness, and justice. The People's Military will always be an iron great wall, defending national sovereignty, security, and development interests, as well as a pillar of world peace.
A total of 45 formations and echelons participate in the parade, and most of the weapons and equipment are shown to the public for the first time. They not only embody the continuation of the heroic armed forces during the war of resistance, but also demonstrates the new look of the People's Military in the new era, and political awareness of its new structure and force composition, new progress and modernization, and new achievements, enhancing combat readiness.
Vande Bharat, Nari Shakti. For the third year, the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of present their qualification Bhasa, Vande Bharat. 1,500 dancers, 34
First to be inspected are 13 flag formations. After a comprehensive and deepened reform, the People's Military has formed a new system of services and arms. 4 service formations, 4 armed formations, and the formation of the Armed Police Force will be holding their respective flags to make a good review during the parade.
Out of the total of 1,500 minorities and arms, 199 399 from dancers and 56 from Bollywood. Of the masks, 57 masks are related to thunder, while 63 are used in folk dance. Kuchipudi, Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Kriya, Odissi, Manipuri, Mohiniattam. Three dance forms, they are all going to be represented here.
Holding high the party, national and military flags. The formation of the Guard Compounding of the PLA is marching toward us. The People's Armed Forces, under the leadership of the CPC, are always the defenders of the country, socialism, people's
The
interests.
global war on terrorism saw the introduction of a range of new technologies on the battlefield. The 8-wheeled Stryker armored combat vehicle is the first military vehicle to enter service in the U.S. Army since the Abrams tank back in the 1980s. The vehicle was developed to fill a gap in the Army's inventory between lighter infantry and heavy armored unit. The Stryker armored combat vehicle enables the team to maneuver in close to urban terrain, plus provide protection in open terrain and transport infantry quickly to critical battlefield positions. The first Stryker vehicles were fielded back in 2002, with the first Stryker brigade combat team deploying to Iraq in 2003.
Fast to operate in multiple domains.
Now coming is the Navy formation. Breaking the waves and navigating to the deep blue, the PLA Navy has comprehensively strengthened its maritime deterrent and combating capabilities, safeguard peace and stability at the sea, moving fast to become a world-class naval force.
Coming up next is the Air Force
U.S. Army Rangers predating the Revolutionary War fought in the War of 1812 as part of the regular army and patrolled the frontier of Ohio and western Illinois on horseback and by boat, with the likes of Daniel Boone and Abraham Lincoln in their ranks. After the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Rangers were called upon to lead the way in the global war on terrorism. As part of the U.S. Army Special Operations Command, the 75th Ranger Regiment, based out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, represents a lethal, agile, and flexible force capable of conducting many complex joint special operations missions. Today's Rangers Regiment is the Army's premier direct action raid force. It is always combat ready, mentally and physically tough, and prepared to fight our country's adversaries.
The PLA Rocket Force serves as the
U.S. Army Special Operations Command is an elite group of individuals trained to lead and succeed in protecting the country from their threats. Composed of 5 units with unique specialties, Special Operations versus small tactical teams taking on the most challenging and sensitive missions. Military legends to service members and civilians alike, they take on terrorists and guerrilla war-style missions in foreign countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Army Special Forces.
The Aerospace Force formation is making their debut in the parade. As a new domain, new model force advocating peaceful utilization of space, PLA
The Stryker
Aerospace
Brigade Combat Team combines the capacity for rapid deployment with survivability and tactical ability. Adaptability and continuous transformation to overcome our enemies is vital. Fighting an elusive enemy in distant places at home requires new tools such as unmanned aerial vehicles for surveillance and the Blue Force Tracker to see real-time details of troop movements. The United States does not face the challenging international environment alone. Our network of allies and partners is an advantage that our adversaries can never hope to reach. Over 80 nations have fought alongside the United States or assisted in during the global war on terrorism.
Cyber Great Wall, China decisively safeguards its network security and sovereignty. Digital battle.
as the 10th Light Division in July 1943. The
As
only
a
one of its
brand new
size in the
strategic
U.S.
arm,
military
the
received
PLA
specialized
Information
training for
Support
fighting in
Force is
mountainous
capable of
conditions.
capturing
After periods spent inactive as a training division and as a standard infantry division, the unit returned to its roots in 1985 and regained its Mountain Division designation. In the 1990s, the division participated in numerous humanitarian and peacekeeping operations. During the War on Terrorism, the 10th Mountain Division proved their mettle as light fighters through repeated deployments to Afghanistan and Iraq. Now, since 2002, the 10th Mountain Division, based out of Fort Drum, New York, has been the most important regular Army unit. Its combat brigades have seen over 20 deployments to both Iraq and Afghanistan in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. To show America's military might, they have one purpose: to deter war and in order to defeat the enemies of the United States of America. They are the 10th Mountain Division. Investments in cutting-edge systems, drone technology, and abilities strengthen the force, equipping soldiers with tools they need to protect the country and defend democracy. The Army has 8 Stryker Brigade combat teams, 6 in the active component and 2 in the National Guard. More than 2/3 of the 7,000 servicemen and women who sacrificed their lives fighting the global war on terrorism were part of one of the Army's 3 branches: active duty forces, the Army Reserve, and the Army National Guard. The Army is continuously transforming to deter aggression to ensure our adversaries cannot outrange or outpace us. This transformation is not just about adapting, it's about maintaining dominance, ensuring that America's Army remains unmatched in its speed, flexibility, and ability to support the nation's strategic priorities.
Always a loyal guard to the party.
Next comes the Reserve Force Formation. New types of reserve forces have been fully integrated into the leadership and systems of the military. They are ever prepared to fight and carry out the missions of the people's military in coordination with the active duty forces in the new era.
The Army and the people are the foundation of victory. Now marching forward is the militia formation. The militia women are from the major wartime to Japanese base areas across China. During the War of Resistance, Chinese people, regardless of their gender or ages, acted as one in safeguarding their homes. The red genes passed on from one generation to another. In the new era, the militia forces provide backup services during peaceful time.
China has been contributing to maintaining world peace. The peacekeeping force formation is marching towards us. China is the largest troop contributing country to peacekeeping among the permanent members of the UN Security Council. Having participated in UN peacekeeping operations for 35 years, the Chinese peacekeeping forces have confronted daunting challenges or fulfilled their missions. The forces have guarded world peace without hesitating to sacrifice their lives, demonstrated through their action how China assumes its responsibility as a major power, making great contributions to building a community and a shared future for humanity.
lãnh đạo Đảng, Nhà nước, Mặt trận Tổ quốc Việt Nam, các đồng chí nắm thành viên mạng, các mẹ Việt Nam anh hùng lực lượng vũ trang nhân dân, anh hùng lao động, các tướng lĩnh, công an, chiến sĩ, lực lượng vũ trang nhân dân, đưa đồng bào đồng chí người Việt Nam ở nước ngoài, bạn bè nhân dân tiến bộ trên thế giới, đưa toàn thể hôm nay trong không khí thiêng liêng ngày 7/8, chúng ta long trọng tổ
combat groups of the armament formations led by the back formation are ready to be reviewed. Once utilizing inferior weapons during the War of Resistance, the PLA has accelerated to develop new weapons, including massively deployed killer heavyweight weapons, thus being better equipped to deter enemies and win the war.
Trong trường thiên liêng này, chúng ta thành trưởng nhớ ấn phẩm thiên tổ, bày tỏ lòng biết ơn vô hạn, minh vĩ đại, tri ân các bậc tiền bối cách mạng, hàng triệu những công lao, hy sinh, cống hiến cho độc lập, tự do, dân chủ và hạnh phúc của nhân dân. Chúng ta đời đời nhớ công lao các mẹ Việt Nam anh hùng, các cựu chiến binh, gia đình người có công với cách mạng, các thi công lao đóng góp.
The banner formation showcases 80 honorary banners of the hero unit troops, bearing glory of the past.
Today, the U.S. Army specialized in heavily fight and win our nation's wars. How? By securing greater, clear, and sustained land dominance by Army forces across the full spectrum of the
Four
country.
formations of the land combat groups are ready to be reviewed. Marching towards us is the ground assault formation, which is arrow-shaped array. The Type 99B tank features strong striking abilities and powered with formation. The Type 100 tank and
Keeping
Type
the Army
100
forces battle-ready symbol makes transportation for the U.S. Army a very vital function. Spread across the parade today, numerous fighting vehicles, some designed for very specific functions and others for flexibility, but they all must be maintained. With over 200,000 trucks alone, wheeled vehicle mechanisms ensure that the fleet of vehicles are ready. These mechanics get the job done. This convoy starts with the M777, a lightweight howitzer. These lightweight howitzers may not look particularly lightweight, but are made from titanium. They are 7,000 pounds lighter than their predecessor, the M198. Used by the Army since 2005, the M777 is currently being used in Ukraine. Weighing only 4,700 pounds, the M119 howitzer is smaller, it's used by infantry brigades.
Are capable of scoring the shoreline from Seoul to
used in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm in 1991 and is also seeing active use in Ukraine.
In landing operations and a key area siege.
The 7th Infantry Division stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord has been seeing continuous combat action ever since activation in World War I.
Marching towards us,
From Europe to the Aleutian Islands, Japan, Korea, Afghanistan, and the Pacific, the Bayonet Division boasts a proud history of answering the call of its motto, "Trust in Me," with resolute dedication. Sent to deployments and conflicts around the globe since it was founded, the division returned to Fort Lewis in 1971, its first time on American soil since 1934. The 7th Division, originally called the Hourglass Division due to their hatch design, gained the nickname Bayonet Division during their deployment to Korea in June of 1950. At Incheon Landing during the liberation of Seoul, they were credited with plunging the bayonet into the heart of the enemy, with 13 members of the division receiving the Medal of Honor. The 7th enables and sustains the combat readiness of 2 striker brigade combat teams and a combat aviation brigade.
In terrestrial battle.
Next to be reviewed are
With the
three
American
formations
soldier
of
at the cornerstone of
maritime
everything the
combat.
Army does, we are continuously transforming. Army careers span the spectrum from attorneys to astronauts and mechanics to engineers. The Army's greatest asset is our people. The finest men and women our great nation has to offer, with a myriad of talents that make us strong. Aside from its people, the Army's next greatest asset is its technology and equipment. Coming up next, these vehicles offer a glimpse of what the Army employs for readiness and battle. The portable howitzers and affordable Abrams tank, used extensively in the Gulf War, Bradley tanks and infantry squad vehicle. The ISB provides enhanced tactical ability of an infantry brigade combat team. This allows commanders greater freedom in movement and action. The ISB provides the warfighter with increased flexibility to ensure infantry units maintain momentum to achieve mission success.
The anti-ship missile formation consists of NG-15 missile, NG-19, NG-17, and NG-20 hypersonic missiles. Missiles can be deployed on multiple platforms, such as carrier-based aircraft, surface missiles, submarines, featuring long-range strike, fast speed, and strong destruction. They are sharp weapons, striking enemies at the sea.
Also warn our viewers not to try this or attempt any of these
Now on parade is underwater weapon formation. Light and heavy torpedoes as well as torpedoes propelled by rockets able to strike vessels and destroy undersea targets. With special purpose naval mines can autonomously identify and attack targets. Our key forces guarding strongholds and making waves in naval warfare.
Three formations of the Air Defense and Anti-Missile Operations Group will be inspected.
Sadhana, Constable Shipleader, 9 others.
Here comes the early warning detection formation. The 4 types of weapons that are being inspected are all new generations of domestically made high-mobile radar. In great coordination, they can detect stealth aircraft and ballistic missiles far and near. They provide early warning of the country's airspace and aerial security.
When duty calls, U.S. Army soldiers don't just answer, they lead. From Fort Bragg, witness a powerful demonstration of strength, purpose, and the unmatched capability of today's Army.
Under review now is the anti-aircraft combat formation. It's a heroic unit
many similar life potential, and I feel like it's molded me into a better person.
6 types of ground-to-air missiles, including Hunty 20, Hunty 19, and Hunty 25, are now being made public. Hunty and Hunty can carry out multi-range, multi-layered, multi-ballistic defense, capable of fighting against everything threats.
My motivation, I think it follows in line, I think, with what my family saw as kind of a sense of duty to serve our country and give back since it's given us so much.
I'm a very, I say timid person, but definitely helped me become a more confident person. Working with the group and my peers, it really shows how much working with the team
I drive a lot of purpose in serving others. I think serving something bigger than myself gets me out of bed.
Here comes the anti-drones formation, set to defend the low-altitude domain. It includes anti-drones missiles and artillery systems, high-energy laser weapons, high-power and microwave weapons. The trio work together to disable and destroy enemy drones.
If we get the call, we have to go somewhere, we'll do what needs to be done. That's just the way we operate here.
Next to be reviewed
one of the few
is
jobs
information warfare group.
say I'm willing to put my life on the line for you, and they're willing to put their life on the line for me.
This is what we train for. This is what I do. My team leaders and squad leaders know exactly what to do. Check equipment, check weapons, check ammo.
All types of equipment being inspected, manned and controlled, detect offense, carry out cyber, and measures and integrated weapons. It is integration that consolidates cyber defense and empowers joint force operations.
उत्सुकता से इंतजार है यहाँ पर
Here comes the electronic countermeasure formation. 5 times their key equipment are displayed. They can detect and monitor all frequencies instead of shooting enemy forces precisely. They're capable of area and disconnecting enemy networks. They are an official force securing multi-domain battle
Into those territories. It's a rush. It's great.
Now we have the information support formation. It is made up of heroes capable of digital intelligence, compare ground networks, information on the battlefield. They can quickly establish and communication systems.
2.5 centuries, our soldiers have marched into the raging fires of battle and obliterated America's enemies.
It's a great way to set yourself up for success, to prepare yourself for the future.
God bless you, God bless our soldiers, and God bless the U.S. Army.
Next to be inspected is the unmanned combat group, consisting of 3 formations. First, we have the unmanned land combat formation. These unmanned vehicles can carry out various tasks such as reconnaissance, assault, mine and bomb defusing, removal, and SWAT
worldwide, conduct multi-domain operations in the Indo-Pacific theater and the Arctic, and on order decisively defeat any adversary in extreme cold weather, mountainous and high-latitude environments through large-scale combat operations. The Angels are the Army's only Arctic division. Masters of Arctic warfare, the 11th serves worldwide in all climates. Established in November of 1942, the Angels of the 11th Airborne Division led the way in the Philippines during World War II and spearheaded the amphibious invasion of Luzon, distinguished themselves during the liberation of Manila. After a period spent inactive and stationed in Germany from 1963 to 65, the division operated as the 11th Air Assault Division, the mission of testing and refining the Army's helicopter-centric air mobility doctrine. Activated once again in June 2022, they remain dedicated to defending America's interests throughout the Arctic, in Alaska, and beyond. The 11th Airborne Division, America's Arctic Angels.
Thể hiện lý tưởng, niềm tin, bản lĩnh, trí tuệ, và sức mạnh đại đoàn kết toàn dân tộc. Đây là nguồn sức mạnh để toàn đảng, toàn dân, toàn quân ta
requiring ongoing maintenance in the field and on base because nothing happens until something moves. Wheel vehicle mechanics supervise maintenance, repair, recovery operations of vehicles that serve the Army in a variety of mission-critical roles. Included in the array of artillery such as Paladins and the Abrams tank is a joint-like tactical vehicle known as the JLTV. It's highly adaptable, providing protected and sustained mobility for personnel and planes. The JLTV is known for its offering capability while providing armor against small arms and improvised explosive devices. The JLTV, right there.
formation of the Logistics and Equipment Support Group, UTUD. The Logistics Support Formation consists of field ambulances, hospital installations, fuel transport for refueling vehicles, hot meal providing system. They have greatly enhanced modern logistics support for the troops.
Trung ương quyền dân tộc truy hình truy tù đất nước phồn vinh hạnh phúc trong kỷ nguyên mới kỷ nguyên vươn mình của dân tộc.
Among the Equipment Support Formation are a mine to repair vehicles, wheeled emergency rescue and repair vehicles, disassemble and assemble repair vehicles, the electromechanical maintenance vehicles, rugged armored hospitals, weapons,
đại diện cho quân đội nhân dân miền Nam anh hùng và dân quân tự vệ đang tiến vào lễ đài trên cương vị quyết chiến thắng tung bay.
Next to be inspected is the Strategic Strike Group, consisting of 4 formations.
Như lời Bác Hồ khen thẳng, quân đội ta chung với đảng, hiếu với dân, sẵn sàng chiến đấu hy sinh vì độc lập tự do của Tổ quốc, vì chủ nghĩa xã hội. Nhiệm vụ nào hoàn thành, khó nào vượt qua, kẻ nào đánh thắng, xứng đáng là quân đội anh hùng của dân tộc anh hùng.
The Changjiang 28 18C Changjiang 1000 missiles can implement long-range precision strikes.
The anti-maritime vehicle. Leading this formation with 2/13 of leading air force in this formation. The PHI being known by Commander Gore along with Captain Manoj Yadav and Wing Commander Pandit LS Baruch and Tuan
The Noontide missiles, BG-21, Dongfeng 17, and Dongfeng 2016 can fly at an extremely high speed, excel at breaking through blockage, and hit targets with high precision. They're vital to victory during all weather conflicts.
Trong cuộc đấu tranh giải phóng dân tộc, thống nhất đất nước, tiếng kèn rung trận của các chiến sĩ quân nhạc đã tiếp thêm sức mạnh, thôi thúc quân và dân ta anh dũng chiến đấu, chiến thắng mọi kẻ thù xâm lược. Ngày nay, những âm thanh hùng tráng đầy tự hào ấy tiếp tục ngân vang trong các sự kiện trọng đại của đất nước, của toàn đảng, toàn dân.
Coming up next for inspection is the first nuclear missiles formation. The heavyweight weapons in the group include the Jinglei-1 air-based long-range missile, Julan 3 submarine-based intercontinental missile, Dongfeng 61 land-based intercontinental missile.
The U.S. Army Reserve is inseparably linked to America's long-standing citizen soldier tradition. Organization leader the Troops Line Medical Reserve, established back in 1982 by the Reserve Medical Manpower. This organization was folded into the new offices for the Officers Reserve Corps in 1917. Reserve organizations furnished crucial manpower to the Army during World War I, merged into 1920 into the Organization of Organized Reserve. During World War II, the Army activated 26 organized reserve infantry divisions, and roughly a quarter of the Army's officer corps came from the reserve during the Korean War. The organized reserve was reorganized and redesignated the U.S. Army Reserve. The Army Reserve has since served as a vital source of manpower almost during time of need, gradually transitioning from a strategic force to an operational force in response to the pressures of the war terrorists.
The people
In the
militant were
170,000
Wing Commander Vishwanath Naga, Wing Commander Jagdish, Squad Leader Akash Karpe, Wing Commander Chakrapani Kajra, all
fight
and
without the
fight
Army Reserve. They are an important component of Army readiness. Let's have a big hand for the Army Reserve.
Đang tiến vào lễ đài là của sĩ quan phòng không không quân trong kháng chiến với ý chí dám đánh, quyết đánh, quyết thắng.
Today, Somalia's Army works to increase safety and survivability, speed, efficiency, and streamline processes. The Striker is a great example of assessing evolving needs and developing the solutions. Strikers provide balance between heavy infantry brigades and combat teams.
long-range strategic delivery of logistics support.
All Rafale aircraft with a ground formation, meaning diamond body, showcasing 6 Rafale fighter aircraft of the Indian Air Force, led by Group Captain Chakrapati, Wing Commander Chaitanya Chakrabarti, Squad Leader Yash Savarkar, Wing Commander Amit Verma, Squad Leader Sushil Mistake, and Squad Leader Vijay Chandre, also 101 Squadron Commander
bảo vệ vững chắc chủ quyền lãnh thổ, an ninh biên giới quốc gia, tham mưu xây dựng cơ sở chính trị, giúp nhân dân phát triển kinh tế xã hội, thực hiện tốt công tác đối ngoại quốc phòng và đối ngoại nhân dân.
Now approaching is the echelon of special purpose aircraft. Under the aspirated J-16 fighters, while 9 anti-submarine patrol aircraft, fighting reconnaissance aircraft, radar jamming aircraft,
Wing Commander Nằm Dung Sinh.
and the team will pass to the GTK. Flying an entire aircraft, reaching a range to handle
đã khiến cho ông có nhiều thành tích đặc biệt xuất sắc, tiếp tục khẳng định bản lĩnh trí tuệ của người tiến trung ngày đêm gánh chịu vùng biển thiêng liêng của tổ quốc.
now all the vision
Closely following is the Ashland transport aircraft. Y208 transport planes and Y208 transport planes make up 2 new formations of flying
vertical Charlie.
multifunctional transport aircraft equipped with new domestically made engines featuring long flight range, high volume capacity, and high speed. With the capacity of long-distance strategic delivery, they have carried out multiple mutual missions at home and abroad.
Aircraft flown by Captain Arun Kumar, co-pilot, and squad leader Rajesh Singh.
When Americans hear the name Bastogne, they remember the Battle of the Bulge. Surrounded by German forces in the frozen forests of Belgium in December 1944, soldiers of the 101st Airborne held the line.
Now flying over is the echelon of bombers composed of 3 B formations that consist of H-6N strategic bombers, H-6K bombers, and H-6J bombers. As a major force in long-range strike, aircraft are capable of long-distance range, patrol a large area, and attacks outside its defense zone.
Học viên các học viện nhà trường quân đội đang tiến vào lễ đài. Đây là những học viên được đào tạo trở thành sĩ quan chỉ huy ưu tú, lực lượng nòng cốt xây dựng quân đội với phương châm học đi đôi với hành, huấn luyện gắn với thực tiễn chiến trường. Chất lượng đào tạo của nhà trường là khả năng sẵn sàng chiến đấu của đơn vị. Các học viên đang ra sức học tập, rèn luyện theo mục tiêu yêu cầu đào tạo, tốt nghiệp ra trường đáp ứng yêu cầu xây dựng quân đội cách mạng chính quy, tinh nhuệ, hiện đại.
Is the echelon of 3 Hunyo 208 airborne refueling tankers, which are ready to refuel H-6N bombers, J-60 fighters, J-20 fighters. The deployment of domestically made refueling tanks has enabled China's fighter planes to operate long-distance flights.
The unit before you is a platoon from the multi-purpose company's 2nd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment, 1st Mobile Brigade, 101st Airborne Division, Bastogne. They are showcasing the Army's Transformation and Contact Initiative, a program that allows the Army to rapidly test, evaluate, and equip our soldiers with the newest technologies. Modern, mobile, and mission-ready, the Bastogne Brigade continues to adapt to new threats, staying rooted in the fierce resilience that defines its birth. They are carrying the next-generation squad weapons, the XM-7 and XM-250, both equipped with the XM-157 optic. The vehicles are the infantry squad vehicle, a new mobility asset that can rapidly move through most terrain types. The trailer is the S-MET, and it's capable of carrying heavy loads on its own through restricted terrain. This platoon is equipped with 3 types of small unmanned aerial systems. They are the Ghost X, located on the S-MET, the C-100, and right above us there, the X-10D, which are flying above the formation right now.
Now, above in the sky is the Echelon carrier-based aircraft, composed of 2 new formations of J-15DH, J-15DT, J-35, and J-15T carrier-based aircraft. From ski-jump takeoff to catapult takeoff, from a single type to multiple models, China's carrier-based aircraft has undergone a leapfrog development.
Đổi mới sáng tạo, chuyển đổi số, góp phần cùng dân tộc bước vào kỷ nguyên phát triển mới.
Last flying past is the Echelon troop aircraft.
Của hòa bình Việt đang tiến vào hiện đại. Hành trình hơn 10 năm xây dựng phát triển, hơn 1.000 chiến sĩ mũ nổi xanh đã lên đường thực hiện sứ mệnh cao cả mà Đảng, Nhà nước,
7 J-10 aerobatic planes stage an aerial display of 14 colored smoke trails, symbolizing 14 years of resistance against Japanese aggression and bright prospects for the 1.4 billion Chinese people striving for national rejuvenation.
Là mỗi chiến sĩ tăng thiết giáp, lực lượng chủ lực đột kích quan trọng của quân đội nhân dân Việt Nam. Trải qua gần 66 năm xây dựng, chiến đấu và phát triển.
The ground fighting vehicle has proved itself to be mindful and survivable in multiple theaters since it first fielded back in the 1980s. Designed as a troop transport, tank killer, and to match speed to the Abrams tank, the Bradley is a fierce fighting machine. The Bradley accompanies the American troops often with the M1A1 Abrams tank, nicknamed the Beast, and Whispering Death because of its firepower, accuracy while moving, and its stealth. Together, they offer mobility and firepower, a fearsome combination.
Rất khó, vai trần trên đất, tháo pháo xoay nhẹ, khuynh pháo lên cao, đắp gần bẻ bắn thẳng. Pháo binh lập chọn trước mặt bắn đầu tiên, mở màn tuyên toàn cuộc kháng chiến, lập nhiều chiến công xuất sắc trong chiến dịch Điện Biên Phủ và các cuộc kháng chiến trường kỳ của dân tộc, được trao tặng danh hiệu anh hùng lực lượng vũ trang nhân dân, xây đắp lên truyền thống chân đồng vai sắt và đánh giỏi bắn trúng. Bộ đội pháo binh tên lửa hôm nay quyết tâm hoàn thành xuất sắc mọi nhiệm vụ được giao.
Đang tiến vào lễ đài là mỗi chiến sĩ đặc công, phát huy truyền thống đặc biệt tinh nhuệ, anh dũng tuyệt vời, mưu trí táo bạo, đánh đuổi thắng lớn. Những chiến sĩ đầu sân chân đất xuất quỷ nhập
động đang tiến vào lễ đài. Những người con khán giả dũng cảm hoan hô.
The commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the world and the fascist war has now concluded.
Tháo bảo vào các cơ quan đầu não của mình, làm cho các tù hùng bạn yêu. Chúng ta cùng tự hào về những chiến sĩ Việt Nam anh hùng, những người đã góp phần làm nên chiến thắng vĩ đại.
While the historical trends of peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefit remain unchanged, the Cold War mentality, hegemonyism, and protectionism continue to harm the world. Peace deficit, development deficit, security deficit, governance deficit. Again, humankind has come to a crossroads of peace or war, dialogue or confrontation, win-win cooperation, zero-sum games.
History reminds us that the destinies of all mankind are intertwined. Our countries, nations can only maintain common security, eliminate wars, treat each other.
And high in the sky, the AH-64 Apache. It's the premier attack helicopter in the world. The Apache entered service in the mid-1980s and continues to evolve and modify to meet worldwide threats. It can deliver intense fire on the battlefield with an array of aerial rockets, guided hellfire missiles, along with 30mm cannon fire. The aircraft you see here is configured with a sophisticated targeting radar system and can operate in poor visibility and in the black of night. With more than 1,280 aircraft in operation accumulating over 5 million flight hours, 1.3 million of which have been in combat, the AH-64 Apache represents the backbone of the U.S. Army's attack helicopter fleet and a growing number of international defense forces. Special thanks to our sponsor, Lockheed Martin. Now, let's roll on to the future of Army readiness. The Army Research Laboratory robot dogs reflect the latest in Army innovation. Look at this. Much like a true canine, these robots can go where soldiers cannot. They have increased mobility, improved tactical awareness, reduced risk to soldiers, and enhanced teamwork. Replacing soldiers, robot dogs can explore terrain that may be difficult for soldiers to traverse, dispose of explosive ordnance, and act in defensive posture or aggressive capacity when armed. The Ghost Robot Dog is another innovation that can adapt seamlessly for various missions from recon to bomb recognition. These dogs reduce risk and support soldiers completely in high-stakes missions. They have a standard walk speed of 2 miles per hour and are working towards 6.7 miles per hour sprint. As the oldest continuously serving Army band and the oldest unit at West Point, this is the United States Military Academy Band, ladies and gentlemen. The West Point Band traces its history to a single drummer and fifer appointed by George Washington during the American Revolution. Over the next 2 centuries, this band evolved into one of the most capable and versatile performing groups in the world. One of the most prestigious institutions in the world where leadership is forged and duty becomes destiny. This is West Point, where Army leaders are made. With the motto of duty, honor, and country, West Point trains the best and brightest to serve their country as Army officers. Founded back in 1802 by President Thomas Jefferson, West Point is the home of the Long Gray Line, a legacy of courage and excellence that includes 77 Medal of Honor recipients, 2 U.S. presidents, Grant and Eisenhower, and numerous generals, including John J. Pershing, Douglas MacArthur, and Norman Schwarzkopf. Upon entering the United States Army, all recruits undergo initial entry training, a highly intense and a challenging training period aimed at developing a soldier's physical and mental toughness, instill discipline, train them in essential combat skills, and foster teamwork. IET transforms civilians into soldiers based on the 7 core Army values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. The Virginia Military Institute, on a mission to produce citizen soldiers, men and women educated for civilian life, prepared to serve their country in the armed forces. VMI counts a Nobel Prize winner, 11 Rhodes Scholars, generals, 7 Medal of Honor recipients, and a Pulitzer Prize winner among its graduates. As one of the nation's senior military colleges, students at Virginia Military Institute can participate in Army ROTC or the Corps of Cadets. While cadets in the Corps can serve in any branch of the United States military or pursue other careers, those in Army ROTC earn their commission as officers, ready to serve on active duty in the National Guard or Army Reserve. Each year, the Army Senior ROTC Blue Ridge Battalion commissions approximately 130 second lieutenants, ensuring that excellence in leadership continues in generations to come. The Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina, offers students the opportunity to participate in Army ROTC or the Historic Corps of Cadets. Founded in 1842, the Citadel is the 3rd oldest of the senior military colleges and is known for its Corps of Cadets living and studying under a classical military system that makes leadership and character development essential. While military service is not required at graduation, more than 120 students earn their commission each year through the Army Senior ROTC Palmetto Battalion, playing a vital role in shaping the future. As one of the nation's senior military colleges, Texas A&M University is home to both Army ROTC and the renowned Corps of Cadets. The Corps of Cadets' central purposes has remained building individuals that exemplify respect, excellence, leadership, loyalty, integrity, and selfless service. Students at the university who participate in the Army ROTC earn their commission as officers ready to serve on active duty in the National Guard or Army Reserve. Each year, the Army Senior ROTC Warrior Training Battalion at Texas A&M proudly commissions more than 90 second lieutenants and is honored to shape the future leaders of the U.S. Army. In a powerful display of commitment, these future soldiers will raise their right hand and take an oath of enlistment, pledging to serve our nation. This joint formation is proudly led by the Joint Task Force, National Capital Region, and the Military District of Washington Retention Team. Shaping tomorrow's Army, West Point's most inspiring cadets remind us that America's future is courageous and in capable hands.
The pride to serve my country knows that I'm doing it not for myself. Every day I put on the uniform, I'm not just representing Caroline Robinson. I'm representing my company here at the Academy. I'm representing West Point. I'm representing the United States Army, and ultimately, I'm representing the United States of America.
I really came to West Point because belief in the American dream and giving back to our country.
You're a part of something that is much bigger than yourself. You're a part of a tradition of excellence and a legacy that's connected not only to the Academy, but to the American Army.
I'm surrounded by people who want to make themselves better and serve our country.
Excellence is their baseline, and that to me is what it means to be a West Point cadet.
From the earliest days of our nation, this supreme tradition of American military service has been passed down from soldier to soldier and generation to generation, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
My brother preceded me here, and originally I didn't really know what West Point was until he came. But when I saw the mission that they were committed to, of upholding the principles of American democracy and protecting the Constitution, I knew it was somewhere I had to be.
Every time that we lived outside of the United States, I always developed this sense of gratitude and pride of being an American, and I wanted to give back to my country what it gave to me.
And it wasn't until I zipped up the blouse and I put the belt on for the first time that I realized that I was going to be serving my country, and it felt right. West Point was the place that I needed to be, and more importantly, the Army was where I wanted to be.
I just looked to the left and right over basic training and realized that we all had the same American patch on our shoulders, that we're all fighting for the same thing. I mean, there was no better feeling in the world knowing that every single person around you is committed and willing to die for that mission.
You came for excellence, you came for duty, you came to serve your country, and you came to show yourselves that you are among the smartest, toughest, strongest, most lethal warriors ever to walk on this planet.
What excites me the most about my future in the Army is the opportunity that I'm going to have to give back to the American soldiers that I'm going to be leading.
Because ultimately, they don't get to choose. And to me, it's that burden of responsibility to be the best leader.
And as a young officer, that's going to be exactly what I get to do.
I was the cadet basic training first detail for the first 3 weeks. And I got to see the new cadets come in from their families' homes and being in process on their very first day and watching them grow so quickly.
I would do all the formations, and I looked out at these 1,000 new cadets, people who had just come out of high school. They were completely different people.
I don't think there's another institution in the country like West Point where the student body is so committed to furthering the mission of America and ensuring our democracy and freedom for generations to come.
I'm really surrounded by the best of the best, and that's when I realized this is a place that I absolutely want to be.
West Point itself is an amazing institution, but it only provides opportunities. The people here have to choose to take those opportunities and grow and lead and serve. And the people here want to do that. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And I would tell any high schooler who is considering it, you won't regret it.
Left, face.
Mr. President, First Sergeant Norton, reporting for duty, sir. Ready to commence the ceremony as directed.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. Congratulations, congratulations. Welcome to the United States Army, and have a great life. Thank you very much. Have a great life. Thank you.
Ranger School is the best life insurance policy for our Army. It will always end with two people facing off with each other, and we need young leaders to be able to close with and destroy the enemy and defend our nation's interests forward.
Surrender is not a Ranger word. It's not an option. I know that I'm not going to be able to get to do this again. This is my chance.
It all starts at the legendary Ranger School, the crucible where these elite warriors are forged. It has been described as the longest approved gut check in the Army. Over 62 days, students will patrol hundreds of miles over mountains and through swamps under the crushing weight of their equipment. All the while, they are deprived of both food and sleep, forced to perform at the very edge of their physical limits. But it's not just the physical challenges that make Ranger School so intense. The mental strain will break these soldiers down to their core.
If I have a come-to-God moment, I have to take my PC off my patrol cap, and on the inside of that, my commander gave me a Ranger tab, the yellow and black one that you get during graduation, and I pinned it to the inside of my PC.
Ranger School is not for the faint of heart, but for those who are up to the challenge, it is the ultimate proving ground.
They already didn't have enough beds for the people in our company. And our eyes reminded us that we don't have enough beds because there's not going to be this many people by tomorrow. Just a slight reminder that there's too many of you anyways, and not all of you are going to pass.
Rangers, if you don't figure it out, you're about to get another casualty.
It's completely different than what people would think Ranger School is like, but you can't put that into words, so it's hard to tell somebody something that you have to experience for yourself.
They got a saying, it's called as the tab turns. So Ranger School is continuing to change and to develop, but at the end of the day, it is the same, right? They're always going to put you in scenarios that is going to test like your ability to actually make decisions on the ground.
As you go through Ranger School, it is a gut check. It's going to check you out. And what's going to get you through it is whether you have it or not. Thousands and thousands of soldiers train all their lives to come here, prepare themselves to come to Ranger School, and only a few hundred leave here every class with the tab. It's not for everyone.
I'm not going to leave until I get it, so just buckle down, stop complaining, and just get the job done.
Please welcome country music sensation and proud supporter of our troops, Warren Ziders.
not gonna lie, y'all, I'm nervous. But I would just like to say thank you so much for having me here tonight. I am just so fortunate to be here in front of y'all. And thank you guys so much for what you guys do. And honestly, happy birthday, y'all. Happy birthday. This next song was loved by y'all. So if you know the words, please sing along. This song's called Ride the Lightning, y'all. We got one more chorus, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody here, everybody that has attended tonight, I just want to say thank you so much. And I'll leave y'all with this. I'm Orange Riders, y'all. Thanks for having me. It has been my honor, ladies and gentlemen. I really mean that. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to the Army. Happy birthday to our President, Donald Trump. Amen, y'all. God bless America, baby!
This week we honor 250 years of valor and glory and triumph by the greatest fighting force ever to walk the face of the earth, the United States Army. Each of you on the field today is among the most talented members of your generation. You could have done anything you wanted. You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone to any school. Matt's incredible heroism helped ensure that not a single American soldier died in the Battle of Shock Valley. For 2.5 centuries, our soldiers have marched into the raging fires of battle and obliterated America's enemies. The dignity, daring, and devotion of the American military is unrivaled anywhere in history and any place in the world. Our soldiers do not rest until they win. Our citizens know that you're standing guard, killing terrorists, crushing our enemies, and keeping America safe. But you're also keeping it strong and proud and mighty and free. This week we remember that we only have a country because we first had an army. As President of the United States, let me express my undying gratitude for every soldier here today, for every veteran and their incredible families, and for every patriot who has worn the uniform. Our debt to you is infinite and everlasting. With the grace of God, America will always prevail.
Well, let me say to the thousands of Americans who traveled from distant towns and across state lines to be here today, this is your national capital. Welcome to Washington, D.C. We are thrilled to have you. This evening, as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army, the oldest branch of the greatest fighting force ever known to man, I want to say to all the soldiers all across our nation's capital and all across the world, happy birthday, soldiers. We're proud of you. And I want to say you represent an unbroken line of greatness, of excellence. And one of the things the President of the United States has told his entire administration, from the Vice President on down, is that we must remember that the young men and women who put on the uniform and serve this nation are our most precious resource. We must honor them, we must respect them, we must fight for them, and that's exactly what the Trump administration aims to do every single day. And so to our soldiers, we're so proud of you, and let me tell you that the way that we honor and respect you is, number one, we never ask you to go to war unless you absolutely have to, and number two, when we do ask you to go to war, we give you the weapons and the support needed to kick the hell out of the enemy and come back home safely. Now, I know I am the last thing standing between June the 14th is, of course, the birthday of the Army. It is, of course, the birthday of the President of the United States, and happy birthday, Mr. President. But I would get in trouble if I didn't mention that it's also my wedding anniversary. And so to my lovely wife, I love you, honey, happy anniversary, and thank you for everything that you do for our country. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce the 45th and 47th Commander-in-Chief of the United States military, President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you to Vice President Vance, and thank you to our wonderful First Lady, and above all, thank you to the greatest, fiercest, and bravest fighting force ever to stride the face of this earth, the United States Army. Thank you very much. Because the Army keeps us free, you make us strong, and tonight, you have made all Americans very proud. They're watching from all over the world, actually. Made them all very proud. Every other country celebrates their victories. It's about time America did too. That's what we're doing tonight. And watching this magnificent display, our souls are filled with gratitude for every generation of warriors who have worn the uniform all the way back to the very beginning. So to every veteran across our land and right here in our nation's capital, including 6 recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor, we love you, we honor you, and we salute your noble service to our flag and to our country. As we celebrate tonight, we also think of the hundreds of thousands of Army soldiers who have made the supreme sacrifice for our nation and selflessly laid down their lives in every war, from the Revolution to the War on Terror. To the Gold Star families with us today, the courage of your heroes is the bedrock on which our entire nation stands. We thank you. Yes, we thank you. Today we commemorate an event that did not just change American history, but changed the history of the entire world. With the creation of America's Army on June 14th, 1775, liberty got its shield and the freedom got its sword. Those first Army patriots in the American Revolution fought against a fearsome enemy and impossible odds, but they were armed with a righteous cause. They were led by an indomitable commander, a truly great man, General George Washington, and they were united by an eternal creed. Their motto is victory or death. Over the past 2.5 centuries, our warriors have shown unrivaled valor on fields of battle around the globe. With the frostbitten feet and bloody fist, they have marched into the flames and fury of combat, charged up mountains, stormed beaches, waded through torrents of gunfire, and leapt into skies thick with smoke and shrapnel. The U.S. Army has driven bayonets into the heart of sinister empires, crushed the ambitions of evil tyrants. Beneath the threads of American tanks, it's done so well, it's done so much, and sent the devil himself flying into full retreat. Time and again, America's enemies have learned that if you threaten the American people, our soldiers are coming for you. Your defeat will be certain, your demise will be final, and your downfall will be total and complete. because our soldiers never give up, never surrender, and never, ever quit. They fight, 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 and they win, win, win. And that's why no institution in history has entered more names into the roster of American heroes than the U.S. Army, the Congressional Medal of Honor, more than anyone or anything. There was Mad Anthony Wayne, asked by George Washington to lead a daring midnight raid up the cliffs of Stony Point with unloaded muskets and only their bayonets to fight the redcoats. Mad Anthony replied, "Issue the order, sir, and I will storm into hell for you." Then there was the Civil War general, John Corse, shot in the face in combat. He fired off a message to his commander: "I am short a cheekbone and one ear, but I am able to whip the hell out of all of them." He stayed on the front lines, it seemed forever. In World War II, there was the great Creighton Abrams, besieged on all sides by the Nazis at the Battle of the Bulge. He boldly proclaimed, "They've got us surrounded again, the poor bastards." This is the fighting spirit and unyielding force of the U.S. Army. It has never changed, and it will never, ever change, because there is no earthly force more powerful than the brave heart of a U.S. infantryman or an Army Ranger, paratrooper, or Green Beret. They are the best, they are the finest. From Bunker Hill to San Juan Hill, from Gettysburg to Guadalcanal, from Yorktown to Shiloh, and from the trenches of the Argonne to the mountains of Afghanistan, the Army has forged a legacy of unmatched courage, untold sacrifice, and unequaled and undying glory. Our soldiers have poured out their blood by the bucketful on Missionary Ridge and Heartbreak Ridge, on the sands of Sicily, Normandy, and the Philippines, and on the dusty streets of Da Nang, Baghdad, and Fallujah. Thanks to their extraordinary service and devotion, 250 years later, America stands tall, America stands proud, and America stands free. We're the hottest country in the world right now, and our country will soon be greater and stronger than ever before. Down through history, we've been blessed beyond words by this valiant legion of Army warriors and patriots, heroes and legends. And tonight we affirm with unwavering certainty that in the years ahead and in every generation hence, whenever duty calls and whatever danger comes, the American soldier will be there. No matter the risk, no matter the obstacles, our warriors will charge into battle. They will plunge into the crucible of fire, and they will seize the crown of victory, because the United States of America will always have the grace of Almighty God and the iron will of the United States Army. Congratulations to everybody. We love our country. We've never done better. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the Army, and God bless America. And now I'd like to ask our great First Lady to join me at the podium. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, on behalf of the United States Army, the Army Golden Knights, I would like to present to you this flag, which was flown over our nation's capital in free fall during the Army's 250th birthday celebration.
I've worked all my life, but I'm starting again. Just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today. 'Cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud an American, where at least I know I'm free. And all the men who died gave that right to me. And I'm glad to stand up next to you to defend her today. So go down, I love this land. God bless the USA. Happy birthday, Mr. President. From the lakes of the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to sea, toward the Houston, to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand. Sing with me. We're in this and I'm glad we stand up for you and her today. But you're around God bless the USA. Light up your cell phone. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I want to make the men who died who made it right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her today. No doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the United States Army. Thank you.